All right, welcome Legacy Life and One Life family. This is the follow-up to our Tuesday call we had with Eric Fierro, where we're going to go ahead and get through his website. But I had a lot of you guys texting, and I know the audio on the call yesterday wasn't as good as it should have been. And you guys appreciated the time Eric did and the content, but you wanted to hear his scripts again. So before we actually jump through navigating his website, Eric, if you could spend a moment and kind of review the scripts that you mentioned yesterday on the call.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't mind, I want to preface something for all the listeners and people who are watching. I also got a couple of messages yesterday regarding questions on, hey, we logged into your site and everything looks like it's Medicare heavy. I just want to clarify something that although you see that it's Medicare heavy, it's going to still be content that's heavily geared towards telephonic sales. And one of the things that I mentioned yesterday is that the concepts translate, whether it's Medicare, final expense, ancillary, mortgage protection, it translates. And that's really why I was trying to really push that people who are joining the university, you'll be able to get a lot of great information, which we're going to show you. And as of right now, I'm going to just kind of cover a couple of quick concepts about the difference between when you're calling on leads and using a script just to get into someone's home versus what you would need to do if you're going to actually transact the whole sale over the phone. Because there is a difference, and there are things that you do have to focus on to make that transition. But again, in the university and especially on the Facebook private group, there's going to be a lot of ongoing training that will pertain to final expense, and it'll pertain to Medicare and anything else you guys request. Because our agency, we do sell all of it. For us, we sell final expense a lot as a package to something else that we're offering. So for us, we normally offer a Medicare supplement with an ancillary product like a lump sum cancer, and then also include a final expense. It's a package deal. So although we're explaining the benefits of all of it, we don't actually normally always lead in with final expense. Now, for the purpose of what's going on right now, that is something that I do want to try to get recorded and get done, where I will make more content for final expense specifically and actually leading in and doing a whole telephonic sale with final expense. So that is something that you guys can look forward to. But in the meantime, let me just start by kind of jumping in here with the script. I know a lot of you guys were wanting to hear this again and kind of just how the introduction would go when you're calling on leads and how it's different. So again, when you're setting up appointments normally to go in home, normally it's going to be a short script, right? The only thing you're really focused on is getting them on the phone and getting in their house. So a typical script would be like this. Hey, Angie, this is Eric with Senior Advisors. I'm getting back to you about the benefit information you requested on Facebook. I see that you're in zip code 86301, and I just want to, I'm sorry, let me actually start over. Sorry, I got another call that was coming in during that. I don't know if you guys heard it on your end. But here's how the script goes. So, hey, Angie, this is Eric with Senior Advisors. I'm getting back to you about the benefits information that you requested on Facebook. I see that you're in zip code 86301. Is this information correct? Excellent. Well, I'm your local field underwriter, and I'll be out in your area on Friday. So should I drop this off in the morning or the afternoon? Right? So we know that the script is pretty easy because when you're doing this, you're just trying to say, hey, this isn't something that's very invasive, right? It's just, I want to bring you some information that you actually requested. And then once you're at the front door, they're normally going to let you in, and then you do your thing. Okay, so that's what that script looks like. Here's what it looks like when we're trying to do it telephonically and basically start having our conversation while we're on the phone. So here's one. So, hi, Angie, this is Eric from Senior Advisors. You requested information on Facebook about state-approved Medicare and or final expense plans, depending on what you're selling. What's currently your biggest concern or motivation for requesting information today? So what I did there is I'm asking an open-ended question, because the number one thing when you get someone on the phone is you want to ask an open-ended question so that you can get them to answer you with something that you can turn into a conversation. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to create conversations so that we can basically get to the point where we're going to qualify them. Then we're going to try to build rapport. Then we're going to present our product, and then we're going to go for the close. That's the order when you're doing telephonic sales. Introduction, qualify, so you can see if it's basically going to be something you'll even be able to help them with, build rapport, present, close. So now that I've asked them that open-ended question, they answered it. I say, oh, that's amazing. I think I can actually help you with that information you're looking for. You can answer however you want, but an easy scripted way to answer is, okay, well, I'm happy to help with that. Quickly, I just want to verify a couple of pieces of information for our call. I have your zip code as 86301 and your date of birth is 5/8/1952. Is that correct? Okay. And which insurance company and plan do you currently have for your Medicare coverage? Or you can ask, do you currently have any life insurance? You see, it's translatable. You can do both ways. You don't have to say Medicare stuff. You can just plug in yours. It'll still work because the concept is the same. Intro, qualify, build rapport, present, close. So that's one example of an intro on calling a lead if you're going to ask or talk about final expense on Medicare. Another intro could be, hey, Angie, it's Eric from Senior Advisors, and I'm calling you back because you recently requested information online regarding the new state-approved burial plans that you may qualify for. Are you still a resident of Arizona? Okay, great. I just need to quickly confirm a couple of more pieces of information. I have your zip code as 86301, and your date of birth is 5/8/1952. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. See, so the reason that what I'm doing here with the asking some pieces of information is that helps to solidify that I'm not just cold calling you, right? You requested information from me, and to prove that, I'm going to give you a couple of bits of information that I collected from you. Now, with some of you guys, if you're buying certain leads, you could be buying leads that actually have a question specifically about their favorite color or specifically about their favorite hobby or some type of question like that where it's something that you're not going to really know unless they provide that info. So it's good when the lead has that information because then you can bring that up as your verification information. And that way they're like, oh, okay, I did request this, because a lot of times what you'll see is that people will try to dismiss you right off the bat because they're getting calls from other people all the time. And so if you can quickly get to the point where you verify some information, it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's the same way that when you go to the door, if people who door knock, they're like, I didn't ask for any information. When you pull out that lead card, that lead reply card, and you show it to them, that's kind of what we're doing here telephonically by providing these bits of information over the phone. So that's the scripting part that I went through. And again, this is something today, in fact, I'm going to be making a training video covering some of the more important parts of the scripting and of how, really important things that you need to focus on when you're selling over the phone, talking about tempo, talking about cadence, talking about how you can help yourself to amplify your voice or to control your voice to meet and match the tone of what you're talking about. Those are things that I cover, again, in the private Facebook group that will go more in depth. And eventually we'll build out maybe even a full script that we can go through because I know a lot of people are going to be looking for that as well. So how's that, Miles? Is that good?
That's perfect, Eric. And then, second part here is I think a lot of people that are going to be getting on your website, if we could just do a quick overview of how they could sign up for that with the 60-day trial and put their credit card on. Obviously, when you get to the credit card part, you don't have to fill anything out, but just kind of walk through of how they sign up for it. And then from there, I want to pop into the sections and just kind of show them where they'll find the most value right now if they're looking for telephone sales.
Okay, so real quick, what I got to do here is, let me actually get the link then if we're going to do that walkthrough. The way that this kicks off, I guess, is the first thing that people have been doing is, and we'll provide it here as well, it's a cell phone number that you're going to text me, and you're going to basically say, hey, Eric, I'd like information on the 60-day trial. And so when you do that, you'll get an automated response that says, hey, please fill out this contact form so I can add you to my contacts, and then I'll text you the information, the link to actually enroll in the university. And just so we can know here, the phone number is 480-573-7559. So once that all kicks off, I'm going to actually pull up what the site looks like when you get the link. So as I'd mentioned before, and I don't, for anyone who's seen it, I put together a special bundle for this. It's called the All Together Bundle. And what the bundle is going to include is all the courses that I mentioned. There's going to be basics of Medicare, selling Medicare products, which again is going to be important because a lot of the information you find in selling Medicare products is the stuff that can translate to what you're doing in final expense and mortgage protection. Marketing Medicare products is also a really important module because it teaches, there's a section there called the tools of the trade, and I'll show it to you guys, but the tools of the trade is where you basically get all the information on how to set yourself up to be a telephone salesperson. And then cross-selling is where you're going to find when probably by beginning of next week, if not the end of this week, I will be uploading a lot of information on cross-selling final expense, and you'll find that in here along with other products that we cross-sell in the senior market quite often, such as dental, vision, hearing plans, lump sum cancer plans, hospital indemnity plans, and so on. So this is going to be a great section that we'll continue to add content to as well, depending on what we see works in the senior market. The software package is going to be included. This is what gets you access to the quoting tool. It gets you access to the CRM that I'm going to show you a little bit later as well. And then the ongoing training is a great place because this has actually over 20 hours of recorded phone calls that show you how we sell these products over the phone. And there's actually probably 2 or 3 recordings in there of us doing a bundle sale, which that's what we call it, a bundle sale, when we sell multiple products over the phone to one person or to one household, and those normally include a final expense sale in there as well. Okay, so the final exam is just to kind of test on all the stuff that we're learning, but that's what this altogether package is. Normally, what I'm going to show you here is that I have what was called an all access package. It essentially does include everything that's in the altogether bundle. But this all access package is normally $397 the first month and then $97 a month afterwards in order to continue to have access to the software CRM, the quoting tool, and the ongoing training that you'll find in the private Facebook group. It's basically the way that you're going to get more access to me without you being technically in my downline, because I don't focus on recruiting. I do want to make that point. I don't focus on recruiting. That's why you have an ongoing feed. It's kind of like you're getting access to not only amazing tools, but you get access to me to help you with answering any questions. Plus, in that Facebook group, you're going to always see content that other people are asking that I'll post on there so that you can learn from their questions as well. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you first. So what I'm doing is with the Altogether bundle, first 60 days is going to be free. Okay, you do still need to add a credit card when you subscribe, but the first 60 days is going to be free because that's just something that I felt I wanted to do in these crazy times where there's a lot of agents who are trying to figure out how to get set up to be a telesales agent. I have the system that can help you do that. Okay, and again, what I teach here translates, especially with the CRM, and I'm going to show you guys that here in a second so you understand. So what you would do is you would just click on subscribe now, or maybe it'll say enroll now for you, depending, because since I already have an account, it might just say subscribe. But what you do here, the first page you would see, because since I'm already logged in as me, it's just saying, hey, you want to go ahead and purchase. But it would ask you for your first name, last name, email address, and then you'd hit next. And then when you hit next, it brings you to this page where it shows you the monthly subscription starting on, if you were signing up today, you would not actually see a charge until May 25th. That's when the renewal date would be, right? So you get 60 free days to consume the content, learn the content, be a part of the group, and hopefully you're going to see that I bring enough value. In fact, I get told all the time that I undercharge for all the value I bring. So this is something where you'll see hopefully that the value of the software, the products that are in there, and the training is worth the ongoing cost. But a lot of questions I get are, will I have to still pay that $397 at some point? No, you won't. Basically, I eliminated $397 not only for the first month, but for 2 months. 2 months you have completely free, and then starting in the third month, it's $97 a month. So all you would do is add in your credit card. You won't be charged today. That's what it says right here. Total price today, 2 month free trial, $0. Okay, so you won't be charged. There's no contract. But again, my hope is that you'll see the value is there. So by the third month, you'll still want to have access to that amazing CRM tool and the quoting tools and all the other good stuff that we have along with this. And there's always going to be more value that I'm going to bring. There's things that I already have in the works that are pretty amazing that I'm working on that I'm going to bring to the university. So there's always going to be ongoing value for anyone and I want to make that clear, anyone in the senior market, that's final expense, that's mortgage protection. I know there's a lot of mortgage protection that focus in the senior market. That's Medicare, that's all the stuff that we're talking about here. That's, you guys will find value. So all you do is click purchase after you put in your card number. Again, you will not be charged, okay? You will not be charged for 60 days. So don't worry about that. Even though it says purchase, you're not being charged, just like it shows you here, 0. Once you've done that, basically, my dashboard is going to look a little different because I have a lot of other course trainings in there that I built for other scenarios, but I'm going to still kind of give you a walkthrough of probably the more important courses pertaining to you guys who focus on selling life insurance products and doing it and wanting to do it over the phone. So let me.
And while you're going there, Eric, I wanted to mention too, for guys who were on the call yesterday and heard his background, Eric's available to us as one of the great Heartland resources. And so without purchasing additional leads, if we have guys on this call who are life-based first or final expense-based first, we have Heartland, who's the experts in the senior market. So when it comes to the plans he's talking about, med subs, cancer, some of you guys may have already dabbled in that with other groups outside of us. You're going to see a ton of value from this website because it's all about cross-selling, right? So when you cross-sell a client an additional piece of business, the persistency goes way up on both sides. And you can have the best when it comes to the cancer, hospital indemnity, Medicare supplement. So Eric's background has been with Heartland, those guys who are really experiencing the final expenses part of the package. That's why you see a lot of the stuff on the website being med sup first or cancer first and all that, but it's still telephonic sales and it's still training. And he spent, there's hours of videos and things. So yeah, Eric, if you could, let's go to the main videos or sections you see as the best value for that final expense first agent. But I just want to let people know that we fully do that. And we have a whole department in Heartland that helps us with that, with the best contract levels, the best training. And if you're already in the senior market, it's a no-brainer to offer the other products your competitors out there can and have the best value for doing so. So go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, and I kind of want to speak to that just one more second with what you mentioned, that what you're going to notice from me, guys, is that if all this time you've been really majorly focused on mastering one product, whether it be mortgage protection or final expense, this is the time where you're going to want to start putting more feathers in your cap. You want to become more well-rounded in offering these other products, because the more products that you have in a household, the better you're going to have on the retention side. And one of the things that I always tell and preach to final expense agents especially is that you're leaving a lot of money on the table. If you are making clients out of these final expense plans that you're offering, those clients a lot of times are going to already be on Medicare. And if they're on Medicare and you're leaving that on the table for someone else, that's money that you could be not only getting some good upfront commission, but there's almost no one else who's offering better residual income or residual commissions than the Medicare market. So you're already teed up to do really well, which is why this should be so much more attractive to you. This course should be so much more attractive because it's teaching you the information you need to know so that you can become well-versed. And I'm talking about really well-versed in Medicare, all things Medicare, not just Medicare supplements. In fact, for anybody who actually wants to pick up Medicare as something they want to offer additionally to their clients when they're selling final expense or mortgage protection, in the original Medicare course, the Medicare Basics, it's gonna go over the product of Medicare itself in depth, so that you are probably more knowledgeable than the majority of the agents out there who got like a 3-day crash course before they started selling Medicare. This is a very in-depth training on Medicare, original Medicare, Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans. And this is where a lot of final expense guys actually roam. They end up writing more Medicare Advantage because it just pairs better with people who are signing up for final expense. But that training is in here, so take advantage of it. I know that you have a lot to think of just with having to train on becoming a telephonic salesperson. But man, at the same time, when you have this wealth of information at your fingertips, take advantage and start learning Medicare, because there's so many people right now that are in the Medicare business who, when the stuff hits the fan, just like it is right now, even if they're face-to-face agents, they're not as worried Now, there's still actually a lot of people signing up for this course, and they're trying to learn how to sell telephonically, but they're not as worried because they have a nice residual income stream coming in every single month from the Medicare block that they've built. And that's something that I think you guys should be a part of. So let's go back to the other thing that's going to be important for you guys, in the selling course. I like this part for anybody because the information under the selling techniques for closing sales, this is important for everybody when we're talking about telephonic sales. Okay, the information I give in here is great information on techniques and things that you should say, how you should say it when you're doing sales over the phone. Incredibly important stuff here. Okay, so for that reason, that's why you should be in course number 2, selling Medicare products. Again, don't look at this and look at the word Medicare and be freaked out and say, well, there's nothing about final expense. The information in here on telephonic sales translates to all telephonic sales. So this is something you want to be in here. You want to go through all these videos and you want to watch them because these are important techniques for selling over the phone. Let's go into the next part that would be important, which is course number 3. And course number 3 is going to be on marketing. And again, it's marketing Medicare. Don't pay attention so much to the word Medicare products. The marketing aspects of everything in here is still very important. Now, one thing that was mentioned on the phone call yesterday, because in here I actually have information on where you can market Medicare products, Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans. There's actually there's a link in here that allows you to see what Medicare Advantage penetration looks like, county by county, state by state. And what we do know about when we see high levels of Medicare Advantage penetration is that that's a great place to market for final expense. Okay, so that's another, again, sometimes it's just a matter of using these tools in reverse. The information is all there, and although it was designed initially to help Medicare agents, it can still help final expense agents when you understand how to use a tool, and you can, like I said, reverse engineer it and use it a different way for the same goal of writing more business. The tools of the trade section is going to be an important section because when you're setting yourself up to be a telephonic agent, there's things that I think are incredibly important for you to have access to. One of them, making sure that you have a telephone set up on your computer. So I teach you how to do that, how to set up a Skype phone. In fact, it's one of the first videos or one of the last videos that I put in the private Facebook group is more of a walkthrough of setting up your computer on your phone and setting up the CRM to get started, so you have the tools in place ready to start making your telephonic phone calls, whether it be calling leads or cold calling. And then the other thing is how to set up a toll-free number if you wanted to get an 800 number, how to get your own domain address, how to use that domain address to set up a professional email address. If you're going to be sending out proposals and quotes to people, you don't want to do eric@gmail.com, right? You want to send eric@senioradvisors.com. That's what you would want to send. You would want to send them emails with a professional email address. I show you how to get that all set up. I show you the cost for each one of these things if you want to set them up. Mostly, everything that I show on here is mostly going to be the cheapest way to do it, by the way. It's not like I just grab things out of the air regardless of the cost. I try to find everything at the cheapest way that's possible so that the overhead cost for you to operate as a business is minimal. But at the end of the day, you're still a business. As an insurance agent, you are an independent 1099 agent. You're a business. So therefore, you do have to understand that there will be costs associated with running a business. And these are just some of the costs. We try to keep them minimal, but they do exist. Okay, so that's important. Here's another cool thing. There's a Facebook ads training course in here. It's a basics Facebook ads training course, but it's enough that you learn how to put together an ad if you wanted to try to do your own lead gen. But like I said, for most people, they do end up getting, and I'm being honest, they get overwhelmed by all the information in here. And at the end of the day, I do see that Facebook ad training or Facebook ads, it's ad generation or lead generation is an art and a science. Right? It's not all just plug and play. There are people obviously who are selling courses that will tell you it's all plug and play. But I do think that you can obviously copy people's word for word what they're saying and put the same picture or same type of picture and get results. But when those results stop hitting, right, because all ads have, they're going to have a peak, and then after they hit that peak, they're going to start going down in performance. If you don't understand the art of marketing, then it's going to be hard for you to continually come up with new stuff, new content to test. But again, it's in there if you want it. I just wanted to show you guys. Let's move on to the next part. The other important course that I was going to mention is the cross-selling course that will be getting updated with more final expense information here. Let me actually go to the correct one here. Course 4, cross-selling. So in here, the idea was that, this is going to just be training on different products that we cross-sell in the senior market. This is, to me, one of the most important courses, because when you're calling on a lead, if you want to get the highest return on investment, you should be able to sell more than just one plan. If all you're selling is one plan and that lead doesn't pan out, you normally just toss it to the side and say it's no good. But when you offer several different products, if it doesn't pan out for final expense, as an example, then you can just ask a couple of simple questions that can lead into a conversation where you're talking about a whole different type of plan, and now you're cooking. Now you have the potential to sell something else and make an ROI on that lead investment. That's the way I see, and that's why I think it's so important for you guys to train on understanding and learning other products that are great for the senior market. But as I do complete more videos on final expense, you will find it here in the final expense section, just so you're aware this is where it is at. Okay. Now, the next thing that I think is important is going to be the ongoing training. Reason the ongoing training is so important is because in here I have over 20 hours of phone calls that cover selling a ton of different products, so you can hear how it's all put together and how it's all done on the phone. These are agents calling leads and basically turning them into sales. They've been scrubbed so that no sensitive information is on the call, but it is available in here to listen to. This is great also, like if you're, which I don't know, a lot of you may not be driving around anymore for a ton of time, but it's great to listen on your phone because this site is also mobile friendly. So you can go to the section, you can listen to these calls on your phone, you can go on your computer and have them, but you can see there's MedSup sales, there's dental vision hearing sales, hospital indemnity sales. Here's a package product that's included, that included a final expense plan in it, more DVH, more supplements. I think there's also there's a Medicare Advantage sale. And again, this to me is a wealth of information. You can pick up so much just from listening to these types of calls. And again, I'll be adding more final expense calls as we move forward with time. I do want to add more final expense specific because I think that with time, this is going to become a place where also a lot more final expense people come to get some good training as well to be able to sell telephonically. So that's everything I wanted to show you guys in terms of the course itself. I hope you saw that was, there's a lot of great information. Miles, do you have any questions before I go on to the next part?
No, I mean, if the homepage there is those 6 sections, it looks like a majority of those 6 sections have a ton of video and a ton of training for guys that are at all aspects of this business, right? Medicare first, life first, does all 3 already, but has some of the stuff outside of us. And the other thing I didn't even mention, but because we are part of Heartland, not only would the commission level, the renewals, and some of the exclusive products they offer on this really help you, but all that counts under one roof towards our group contest trips, this March Madness contest that we're doing. We call it March Madness, although March being almost over, and I think we extended it now to May because of the coronavirus. But everything, you end up getting a lot more value. So like I said, there's people on this call who have only ever done life and have stayed away from this stuff because it's scary. I'd encourage you guys to spend these 2 months kind of learning as much as possible, not just on the telephone sales part that only pertains to final expense, but I would dabble in the Medicare because what I know about Eric is he made a very bulletproof website to teach you guys all of that stuff. And then for guys who are already doing it outside of us, look at doing it with us now and the more value we can put into you. And it looks like he's going to mention his Facebook group and the other things that he's putting together here. So yeah, go ahead and show this part, Eric.
Yeah, and you make a great point. Again, you have, when you start cross-selling, you have all these new products at your fingertips, and you're doing it with the Heartland Group. You put yourself in a real strong position to qualify much easier for the incentives that these guys offer, which I've seen it. Heartland offers some amazing incentives. So I think it's incredibly important to really get immersed into that information. And one of the other that really incredible assets. This is part of the ongoing training. This is to me, this is going to be probably one of the more benefit-rich aspects of the training. This is the private Facebook group that I've been mentioning. So as you can see, as I scroll down, there's going to be people asking questions and getting answers in here. And as more people who have experience come in, they're also going to be able to help answer questions. I know there's people that are joining this group that have 15 years experience in Medicare. There's also some final expense killers that are part of this group as well, who are more than happy to help answer some questions when they're getting posted in here. But one of the things I wanted to show you is I have a unit section. And in the unit section, because every week I do ongoing training based on what you guys want to learn. Okay, so you ask me, and then I'll make a video training on it. I'll either do a Facebook Live a lot of times where you can ask questions as we go along, or I'll do a Zoom chat where you guys can join in and just watch live while I'm doing the training. But you can see that there's already a lot of training videos in here on a lot of different things, and including I remember I did do a basics final expense for some people who wanted to actually start picking up final expenses, something they cross-sell as well. But this is going to continue to grow. This is going to continue to grow. The video that I just made Saturday, let me see where that's at. It's down here just a little bit, right here. So the first step on setting up your virtual phone and a CRM account. Okay, so I walk through step by step how to do this that you can follow along. And even some people you see, they saw it, great training. Twilio setup is done. Acquired Twilio, like he basically followed directions just like I mentioned on here, and so now he's all set up to go. Like I said, this is the kind of training that's hands-on. It's essentially over the shoulder. It's me walking you through. To me, this is the closest you can get to hand-holding than me actually being next to you holding your hand. So that's the really big value and importance of this group. And I wanted you guys to see that in this video so that you are aware that that's available. So I'm going to move on to the actual CRM and show you guys what it looks like. Right, unless you have questions, Miles, before I do that.
No questions. Yeah, I'd like to just, get to the CRM part now.
Okay, so in the CRM part, this is an amazing CRM that I would say combines about 5 different pieces of software in one. You're talking about with this software you no longer need, and these are softwares I used to have. I used to have a separate automated emailer, basically, so that helps me with doing my email automation. I had a separate one for texting and for voicemail drops. I had a separate one for calendars. I had so I can use like a calendar link that I can give to people to schedule calls with me. I used to have a separate one for funnels when I wanted to build out web page funnels where I would try to collect people's informations or just have kind of like a quasi website up there that people could go and visit. This also replaces the need for there's one more piece of software. I'm just going to have to go through. Like I said, there's so much stuff in this CRM. You may not even end up using all of its features, but the fact that it's part of the university and you have access to it, it's an amazing, amazing tool. So the very number one thing, though, that I use this for is for automation. Whenever leads come in and you've built out campaigns. For example, if a lead came in and I was sending it to my final expense campaign, I would basically kick off an automation where the first thing it'll do is try to force call. It'll call your phone and say, a lead has come in. Do you want to try to contact? Hit 1 to contact. And when you do that, it'll try to contact the client. If you can't reach them, then 2 minutes later, it's going to send a ringless voicemail. And if you don't know what that is, you've probably seen it happen to you, that all of a sudden a voicemail shows up on your cell phone and your phone never rang. That's a ringless voicemail. What do? You check the voicemail, right? Nobody really just leaves it there. You go and check it. But anyway, so ringless voicemail gets delivered. 5 minutes later, a text gets delivered. 10 minutes later, an email. The next day, another text and email. Day 3, a text and email. What you see here is a sequence of follow-ups to help you reach the leads that you're paying for. So if you have leads you're paying for, you want to send them into a CRM that can handle some automation for you so you have a higher chance at reaching who you're calling. Okay, this is a big deal, guys. A lot of agents are not doing this, and this is a very big part of what the future of marketing and sales looks like. So you got to get on board with this stuff. And the cool thing about the university is you have access to this stuff. Okay, so that's the campaign, or that's the automated campaign side that I think is really important for people to see that a lot of people are not utilizing. I want to show you guys an example real quick of one of our guys who uses the system, and you can kind of see that the whole purpose of it is that it's designed to try to get you in contact with more people. look at here, the contacts made, 50% of his leads that came in, he made contact with because he was using either texting, email, or he's getting in contact by phone. Whereas normally that number could be quite a bit lower when you're trying to contact on your own. So that's one of the big things about using automation, is that it helps you to get higher contact rates. And that's one of the things I keep trying to stress to everybody, is that's incredibly important to get higher contact rates. So I'm going to go back to my accounts. That's someone else's. I don't want to be in there too long. Other cool things, again, the funnel section. The funnel section, this is where, like I said, you can build out a website. It's pretty user-friendly. There's lots of training in the university under the software course on how to use all the functionalities that this CRM offers. I was on a call yesterday with somebody going over some of the functionalities, and he was thinking about using it in a whole different way from what I normally intended to use the CRM for. But, man, when I see it, it's just like, this is such a versatile tool that it's not that it has to be just used for one thing. It can be used for multiple things once you really understand all the power of the functionalities this tool offers. And I want to go into the contacts real quick just to show you what a contact looks like, okay? And so with a contact, when you have information coming in, and if you're doing automation, you can see that there's the conversations get stored in this section, and so you can keep track of your conversations. You can reply right from here by text, or you can click on email and send them an email right from here, and it'll shoot it out to him. You can create tasks. You can create notes. You can create appointments if they need to schedule an appointment. Over here, as far as what information you can capture on a person, it's all listed here, right? This is basic stuff. In the general info, it's more the address information, and then under additional info, there are a ton of fields that I entered in here that you get access to, which is like mother's maiden name, date of birth, gender, height, weight, tobacco user, driver's license. And the cool thing is, if there's something, a field that you quite often collect that's not in here, you can go and do it yourself. You can add in a whole new field to put in here, so that you can always, if it's something that's not in here that you want to collect, you can make it a field where you can input that information moving forward. Okay, so again, that's what the contact section looks like. You can also make phone calls right from here. So all you got to do is click on that, and you can call this lead right from here. There's also other functionalities where you can do it, more effectively. And again, I'm going to probably, because I don't have that many leads in here right now for example purposes, this is more of an example account to show people. But this is where if you have leads coming in, they get stacked in here, and you can call from here. You can also disposition by dragging and dropping leads from one to the other. You can actually go in and modify these titles so they don't have to be what you see here. You can modify it to match more what you do in your daily follow-up. I don't know. This is just something that's been generic that works pretty well, but if you don't like it, you can change it. And let's see. And again, I don't want to take too much more time, Miles, because I know we're running out. And I just want to show one more thing. But this is just kind of a very general overview of this awesome CRM tool that comes included with the university. And then the other thing is the quoting tool that we had mentioned. If you don't have access to a quoting tool yet, this one is great for Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, final expense, and hospital indemnity. Super intuitive, super easy to use. Probably one of the best quoting tools that I've seen out there is through a company called CSG. I think that they're probably one of the most value-added propositions of not only the university, but just of in general to the agent population. So that's to sum it up, everything that I wanted to show you guys in the university. You have any other questions, Paul?
No, I really don't. I think you did a very thorough job. I think there's so much going on here that as guys get in there and are using it, obviously that's why you have that separate cell phone number and get them to your contact list. And so there'll be people emailing or calling you for questions as they're navigating this. But I think that some people are going to see the value of this tool, that there's just so much to learn in one 45-minute webinar. I just wanted to reiterate the point of if you do want to get appointed with Heartland for the senior products and you're already in the senior market, it's just cross-selling availability. It's using tools like CSG to quote by zip code to offer the best plans. I also want to let you know the best way to do that, to make sure it links with your life production for all of our contests, cash giveaways. I know Heartland sent 3 emails just this last week about different bonuses they're paying all their producers on top of what the carrier's paying during this time. So make sure you send an email or a call to myself, to Johnny, to Eric, whoever at the office you work with. And the reason why you want to do it that way is we make sure that we link all of your life production with the rest, so you actually qualify for these contests and giveaways they're doing, and you get, the more ways to qualify with each product. So I encourage people to use this website to its fullest. If you just want to stick final expense but learn how to do final expense via the phone, it seems like there's plenty in there to do that. Eric's adding more. You can be a part of his private Facebook group, and you're going to learn that part. But most people that have a little bit extra time on their hands are going to get the extra value of the med sup, the hospital indemnity, the cancer, and just all the rest that this website can do for you. So, Eric, I think we should leave it at that. This was a fantastic video. Thank you for spending the time on our national call and doing this video here for us. And hopefully we get some traction of people actually learning this stuff and using your website, okay?
Absolutely. All right. I appreciate the time.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Eric. Take care.
Take care.